Well, they're having a relationship.
Oh, come on, Vera.
Don't believe me if you don't want to, but it's true. Remember I told you she got flowers the other day?
Well, yeah, well, that doesn't prove a thing. And even if she is, that's her business, and I don't really want to know about it. I just wish she'd change her mind about the women going back to work, especially after what happened.
Don't worry. Once the department hears about Burke's stunt, they'll scrap the whole project.
Well, she's hardly likely to make out a report, is she? Not if she wants it to go ahead.
Well, I know she won't. But I will. Here's my report.
Well, do you think it'll do any good?
With this, all our problems will be over.
Well, that's finalised. I'll put another prisoner in Burke's place and the women can be back tomorrow.
Frankly, I don't know what I'd do without them.
Oh, surely half a dozen prisoners working 3 days a week wouldn't affect your business that much.
Every little bit helps. And the factory's not doing too well at the moment.
Oh? Problems?
Oh, nothing serious. I'm just a born worrier, I suppose.
Or a typical businessman. Too much work, too little leisure. I believe that's the easiest way to get an ulcer.
Well, if you're worried about my ulcers, be a good Samaritan and join me for lunch. Then we can both relax.
I'd love to, but there's too much paperwork.
Oh, haven't you buried yourself in work long enough?
It's become something of a habit.
And like all bad habits, is something you should try to give up. Lunch would be a start.
Well, perhaps just this once the paperwork could wait.
12:30 at Borden's?
Fine.
Good.
I'll see you out.
I mustn't forget to sign the book. Well, thank you, Mrs. Davidson.
My pleasure.
Miss Bennett?
Mr. Reynolds?
I have given your report some thought, Miss Bennett, and I would advise you against sending it to the department.
Well, I'm well within my rights to send it, whether you approve or not.
Of course you are, but I'm sure you haven't considered how the incident reflects on you.
It doesn't reflect on me at all.
If you think about it, you will find that it does. The incident occurred whilst you were on duty. And the department may think your supervision is rather lax if Burke could so easily get goods out of the factory. However, whether you send the report or not is entirely up to you. Have you tried Paul Reed's number again, Sally? I see. No answer. Well, would you keep trying? Thank you. Come in.
You want to see me?
Yes. Would you sit down, please, Meg? As you know, we haven't seen Paul Reed for a couple of days. When I returned to the office just now, I found this phone message from him. It says he's going to Adelaide with his son for some time and he wants extended leave.
Oh.
Well, you don't seem very surprised.
Well, I knew Tony wanted to buy into a garage business in Adelaide. I guess Paul's gone over to check the whole thing out.
This is the second incident concerning Paul Reed that you've withheld from me, Meg.
Well, I thought it was a personal matter.
Not when it concerns his work. He can't just take off whenever he feels like it. What happens to the women here?
Well, I guess he thinks that Tony's more important at the moment. He's his only child, and after his wife died, Tony's all he's got. Well, surely you can see that.
I can, but I don't think the department will. I've already arranged for Captain Barton to handle his work with Gail Summers.
Well, that was your idea.
I am aware of that. I have been trying to contact Paul to speak with him, but there's no answer, as you seem to know him better than the rest of us. If you see him, I would like you to tell him if he is not back here within the week, I shall have to ask the department for a replacement, and it may be a permanent one.
Good morning. A penny for them.
What? I'm sorry, Lloyd. I didn't see you. I was a million miles away.
Problems?
Well, no, not with me. It's Paul Reed. No one's seen him.
Oh, I was talking to him only yesterday.
Here?
No, at his flat. I dropped in to discuss the Gail Summers case.
Is he all right?
Well, as far as I know. In fact, he and his son seem quite excited about something. A job Tony's got in Adelaide, I think.
Paul must have changed his mind about the garage.
Yeah, it was something to do with cars.
Well, that's good news. Well, apparently, it's a partnership. And according to Tony, Paul wasn't very keen on the idea. I thought Tony might do something silly. It's bad enough trying to get a job these days, even if you haven't got a criminal record. But in Tony's case, it must be just about impossible.
So much for paying your debt to society, eh? Still, let's hope that Paul sorts everything out while he's in Adelaide.
Paul's in Adelaide?
As soon as he heard that Mrs. Davidson had asked me to look after the Gail Summers case, he booked his airline ticket.
But he will be back for the trial.
Oh, I don't know. Tony might know. He wasn't flying over with him. You don't think that Paul's not being there will affect the outcome of the case, do you?
Well, it might. Especially if it upsets Gail too much. I mean, she's really become dependent on him. And at the moment, she needs all the friends she can get.
Don't take it so hard, Bea. The factory was a real dump, honest.
Yeah, well, I would like to have seen it just once, just for myself. You know what I mean? And now I'm not going to get the chance, and all because of Burke.
Oh, well, don't be so sure. I mean, once the fuss has died...
No, Davidson said right from the start, one false move and the whole thing's off.
She's gone.
Now, what are you talking about?
Burke!
I was in the kitchen, you see, and there was this kid that had spent the night in the pound, and she reckons the screws come and got her. Burke, I mean.
Well, I bet you $1 to a brick that's the last we see of her.
Where do you reckon she went back?
Barnhurst, for sure.
Yeah, I've seen it happen before. You remember that kid, Bea? Forget her name, I think it was Jackie. She really got up Bennett's nose.
Yeah, Vera shoved her in the pound for something. She just disappeared overnight.
Yeah. Real sad it was. Her old mum come to see her next day. And then the poor old duck had to leg it all the way up to Barnhurst.
Do people really just disappear like that?
Why? You think you're disappearing? What do you reckon, Lizzie? You reckon we can make her disappear?
Yeah, one way or another. They come for you in the night, you see. Tippy toes. Clank, clank, clank go the keys. Rat-tat-tat on the door. And they open the door and they take you away and you got no choice in the matter.
Mind you, if you don't hear the keys, could be one of us come to get you.
Yeah, that's what happens to rotten mongrels who bash their kids.
Well, what's the matter with you lot?
Oh, just having a few minutes silence for our old friend Nolene.
Yeah, very funny, Smith. Now, come on, that was the lunch bell. Get moving. Anything the matter, Summers?
No, sir.
Honey, will you relax? Everything's going to be okay, I promise you.
It's just the waiting I can't stand.
Yeah, I know. I think maybe I better go out and case out that Chinese joint.
Judy, what if someone sees you?
I'll be careful.
God, that must be Peter.
You said he wasn't too bad.
Ta-da! How's my little lady? Did you miss me?
Pete, how come you're back so early? You weren't
My
due
little
till-
secret. I thought I'd sneak back and catch you with another man. Oh, hello. Who's this?
This is, Judy.
Judy Bradshaw, how are you?
Ah, how do you do?
Nice to meet you.
You too.
Judy's an old friend. She's been staying here for a few days.
Well, any friend of Paulie's is a friend of mine. How about a cuppa, eh, love? Well, Judy, I was going to take the little woman out to dinner tonight, so why don't you join us?
Oh, that's real kind of you, but I think I'll have to get back tonight.
Yes. Judy has to go up to Sydney.
Ah, a Sydney-sider, eh? Which part do you live?
Bondi.
Ah, pretty spot, pretty spot. I lived at the Junction a few years ago.
You never told me that.
Ah, it was long before I met you, my love. Which street?
Elizabeth Street.
Don't know it myself. And what sort of work do you do?
Fago, Pete. Is this the 3rd degree or something?
Oh, I got to learn about your friends, love.
I don't mind.
What did you say you did for a living?
I work at the Alfred Hospital. I'm a nurse.
Next, you'll be asking her the state of her bank account.
Speaking of banks, I'd better get on with it, you know. I've got to get my return tickets.
Don't let us hold you up.
Right.
Judy, please take care. Look after yourself.
Okay. It's nice to meet you, Peter, and I might see you later, you know?
Yeah, see you.
Bye.
Now, how come you're bringing strangers into my house, eh?
Judy's not a stranger. We've been friends for years.
You never mentioned it before.
What, do you mention all your friends?
What's wrong with you, love? You're really on edge. And come to think of it, so is your mate. What gives?